Well, Monday marks the start of General John Kelly's tenure as White House Chief of Staff. After a series of shakeups, the Trump administration says that General Kelly will bring order to the West Wing.
If we can have protocol, pecking order, discipline, and a chief of staff that empowers the staff to succeed, I know that General Kelly has done that on the battlefield. I know that he's done that as a chief military aide to former cabinet secretaries. I know he's done it as a cabinet secretary. And so we have great faith that that will be done.
But the future for some in the Trump administration, like Attorney General Jeff Sessions, still seems to perhaps be up in the air. So will these latest staffing changes bring an end to all the shakeups? Here to weigh in, Alex Conant, former communications director for Marco Rubio's presidential campaign, and Democratic strategist Elizabeth Gore. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
So my first question you guys actually may agree with. There's a consensus, a general consensus, that General Kelly is a respectable, formidable character. He's renowned for bringing order. But and I want to start with you, Elizabeth. Can he bring order to this administration?
You know, I think it's a really steep climb for him or anybody in the White House. It's almost a cliche now, but the problem is the president himself. Now, I think the only bright light for Kelly going into the White House is that the president seems to have acknowledged that what he was doing doesn't seem to be working. His legislative agenda is stalled. His numbers are low, and he's really struggling in terms of getting his message out and in terms of having any sort of achievements or successes that he can put forward. So maybe there's an understanding that there needs to be changes, but until the president recognizes there need to be changes, it's hard to see how Kelly can be successful.
And Alex, I want you to respond to that, and also that the president has made it very clear that he wanted to drain the swamp. He wanted to eliminate some of the old school politics that were in the administration. At the same time, it is tradition. It's based on tradition, the way the government works. So do you need politicians, or can a general step in and take the helm?
Well, there's two problems in the White House right now. One is there's chaos. There's just a lack of discipline. I think if anyone can bring in a chain of command and discipline into that White House, it's going to be a four-star Marine general. The other problem is they have political problems. The president's poll numbers are very, very low. He has very little to show for being in office for 6 months now. So they need to get better politically. The new chief of staff does not have a lot of political experience, so I think that will be a challenge for this White House moving forward. Who is the president's top political advisor? It can't just be himself. He needs to surround himself with smart political advisors and, frankly, listen more to congressional leaders on the Hill.
When you talk about politics, you know, that it sort of makes me ring in my ear the leaks. The leaks have been such a hot topic, and we've heard the general even say it's equivalent to treason. We've heard him take a really hard line on leaks. Do you think that that's going to help? Is that something that he's going to tackle right away?
I think there has been a new focus on trying to control the message and get people better aligned within the White House. But listen, I think that...
Well, administrations are plagued by leaks.
And part of the problem is that he has developed, the president has created different segments of power, you know, different power centers in the White House, and that is intrinsically creates conflict, and it is a formula for creating this kind of rivalry that spurs the leaks going forward.
Alex, I want to ask you, what do you anticipate, will we see his influences? We know that he's really, really hard on immigration. That's something that the president and the general very much agree on. Are we going to see the Trump agenda perhaps shift a little bit now that we have a new White House chief of staff?
That's certainly possible. Look, his first task is just to bring order to this White House and set up a chain of command and have the president buy into that chain of command so that the president isn't just listening to whoever walks into the office at any given moment. But then second to that, look, the priorities are pretty big this fall. In addition to wanting to do tax reform, wanting to do health care reform, they have to raise the debt ceiling. They have to keep the lights on in the government. This is going to be a very, very difficult fall for this White House on Capitol Hill. So that's got to be the new chief of staff's top priority.
Okay, and I would just say on that all of the political struggles that caused health care to fail are the same. It's the same politics for these other issues that Alex mentioned. And so I think that I agree with you. They have a tough road to hoe here going forward.
It's harder before it gets easier.
So we're out of time, but you made one comment. You said he has to fall in the chain of command. I want you both to answer yes or no, or do you foresee that happening?
I do not.
Okay.
I have seen no evidence of it. I sure hope he does, though.
Okay, so kind of agreeing, kind of disagreeing.
Well, it's just after 6
we'll
months.
Take it, right? Well, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll see. We'll see. Right? We'll have you both back.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.